Freedom of the press is a fundamental right protected under the First Amendment of the US Constitution. It ensures that the government cannot censor or restrict the publication of information, allowing for an informed citizenry and holding those in power accountable. Constitutional basis. First Amendment: Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech or of the press. This protects journalists, newspapers and media from government interference. Key Supreme Court cases. Near v. Minnesota in 1931 addressed a restraint. The Supreme Court struck down a Minnesota law that attempted to censor newspapers before publication. Established that prior restraint, which is the government preventing publication before it happens, is generally unconstitutional. New York Times, Co. v. United States in 1971 involved the Pentagon Papers. The government attempted to stop the New York Times and Washington Post from publishing classified Vietnam War documents. The Supreme Court ruled that prior restraint was not justified since the government failed to prove a threat to national security. Strengthened press freedom against government censorship. Hazelwood School District v. Kuhlmeier in 1988, Student Press. Ruled that public schools can censor school newspapers if the content is inconsistent with the school's educational mission. Limited students' press freedom in school settings. Brandsburg v. Hayes, 1972, Protection of sources. The court ruled that journalists do not have a constitutional right to refuse to testify before a grand jury. However, many states have passed shield laws to protect journalists' sources. Limits on press freedom. While freedom of the press is a fundamental right, it is not absolute. The government can regulate press activities under certain conditions, including national security. The government can restrict press publications if they pose a direct threat to national security, like classified information. Libel and defamation. New York Times, Co. v. Sullivan, 1964. Public officials must prove actual malice, knowledge of falsehood or reckless disregard for the truth to win a libel case. Protects the press from frivolous lawsuits while ensuring accountability. Obscenity. The press is restricted from publishing obscene materials under the Miller test from Miller v. California, 1973. Incitement to violence. If press content incites violence or lawless action, it is not protected, as established in Brandenburg v. Ohio, 1969. Corporate and commercial speech. Advertisements and corporate press activities are regulated to prevent false advertising and fraud. Modern issues and debates. Misinformation and fake news. The rise of digital media has led to concerns about the spread of false information. The debate over social media companies regulating content has become increasingly intense. It's a complex issue, balancing the need for free expression with the necessity to curb harmful misinformation. And then there's the matter of government surveillance and press rights, which adds another layer of complexity to the discussion. Cases like Edward Snowden's NSA Leaks have raised significant questions about balancing press freedom with national security. These revelations have sparked a global debate on the extent to which journalists should be protected when exposing government actions. This brings us to the topic of journalist protections and shield laws, which are crucial in safeguarding the press. While some states have enacted laws to protect journalists from revealing their sources, a federal shield law still does not exist. This lack of uniform protection leaves journalists in a precarious position, especially when dealing with sensitive information. The issue of censorship and the role of big tech companies in moderating content further complicates the landscape. Platforms like Facebook and Twitter are under increasing scrutiny for how they moderate content. This raises important questions about First Amendment protections in the digital age. As these platforms become the new public squares, the balance between free speech and responsible moderation becomes ever more critical.